So I didn't plan on starting the recording yet until I'd taken care of some maintenance stuff, but this just happened once I started up the game, and hell yes! Finally, there is an item storage. Thank the gods in whatever heaven exists in the world of The Witcher. I am so happy that this finally happened. Good gosh. Woohoo. This is why... Okay, forgive me, I'm gonna go on a little tangent here before I actually start playing. You can feel free to skip ahead, but... I wonder, like, if this is a good thing, the way games do this now. I mean, it's great that they're adding so much new content after the game's released, but that's definitely a recent thing. Like, you never saw games, I mean, in the last generation, PS3 and 360 days, yes, they were able to update games and patch things and such, but you never saw, and you get like new DLC packages to add new things into the game, but you never saw this level of just like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not fixing the game, but like, they're just adding new base mechanics into the game, even once it's already available to sell and play. And I don't know how I feel about that. Because, don't get me wrong, I'm glad they're adding this stuff. I like all of the things they're adding. I approve of them. But I find myself wondering... Well, I don't know if wondering is the right word. I find myself thinking... It seems like the stuff that is being added, however many months after the game has been released and played and probably already beaten by a lot of people... Like, I mean, that's the thing right there. A lot of people have probably already beaten this game before the item storage unit was even added. And that seems like something that should have been in the game to begin with, you know? I found myself thinking, it seems like the developers are cheating, kind of, you know? It's like they released the game before it was finished, just so they could start selling it, just so we could start playing it. And then they added in all the stuff they didn't have time to add in later. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, because, like, I mean, I'm certainly glad I've been able to play the game with most of my summer. But, again, I find myself thinking, well, what if they would have just delayed the release of the game and released it with all of this stuff that they're adding in now? You know? And, yeah, that. But, anyway, item storage! Alright. Also, I had to... Apparently the game has had a lot of updates since I last played. It's been a while since I played again. And so I had to... Why is the light going through me? And so there was a bunch of, I had to reconfigure everything when I... Those are dead bats. I had to reconfigure everything when I turned the game on, and it had me turn the brightness all the way up. Like it said, adjust brightness until the image is barely visible. I turned it all the way up, and the image was still not visible. And then I had to turn the brightness on my TV up to be able to see it. And I decided that was just way too bright, so I turned it back down. But the game brightness is still all the way up, so we're gonna try it for a while. We're gonna see if it looks good with this level of brightness. That is a dead bird. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, I will fix it. So, let's remember what we're doing here.
Flee while you can.
Oh, okay. Got it. Witcher is not quite the devil as you thought. My evening with a vampire. Well, we have item storage now, so I have something to do with these. Haha. What's in here? Hello. I kind of feel like this is her stuff, and I shouldn't just be filching all of it, but... That. Alright, let's, is that what I wanted to do? Let's see. Alright, I'm actually going to, what am I gonna do? Should I cut recording? Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna cut recording here, and then look at... Well, you know what? What the hell? Maybe you're interested. You can skip past it if you want. It said that there are new tutorials available for some new game stuff, so let's see. So, turns out there was not actually anything new in the tutorials. So, I saved you the trouble of having to see me go through it all. That's right, we're going to Downwarren to see the evil thing that's happening there for the Crones of Crookback Bog, and then collecting payment from the Eldermen and learning about Ciri, and yay. But first we're going to see what this is. There we go. What time is it? 7 p.m. Sure. I saw Yagna and thought it said Viagra at first. Alright. So, let's take stock real quick. Make sure I remember one. Oh gosh, it's bright. I might have to turn down this brightness before I do anything else. Ultimatum. What is that? Carabella. Have I seen this one? It's so cool. Alright, so that's right, we're using this one. It's not in fantastic repair. Might have to do something about that. Do I have a better one? Nope. I think maybe I have the potential to make a better one. But I didn't want to because bonus experience. Alright, Alright, I got books to read. Crone's Dagger. The maps, that's right. Loot. And books. Oh. I already had one of these. An evening with a vampire. Bestiary, cool. You will no doubt call me a liar, a cheat, and a madman. You will shake your head in pity and snort in disbelief. But I promise you, I swear on all the gods, everything which you shall read in the pages to follow is the truth, the whole thing, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I met the vampire of which I write years ago, in an inn in Beauclair? He introduced himself to me as Regis, and said he was a barber and a medic. Barber and medic, that's a weird combination. Wait, no, it's not. That's right, because quick history lesson, barbers used to be doctors. Oh gosh, I don't remember exactly how it went, but basically, barbers and doctors were like the same thing. If you went to the barber, they'd also be the doctor. It's actually, I was just thinking about it. Actually, why the barber pole? You know, the barber pole symbol, the candy cane looking thing, the spinning red and white stripes that you see outside barbershops. That actually is the way it is because, oh gosh, I was thinking about it. Apparently, I heard this from a teacher, that barber pole is a barber symbol because you used to, when you went to the barber, this tells you how long ago it was that this was the thing, you'd go to the barber and they would slit your wrists or cut your arms, perhaps in a less potentially fatal way, and then have you grab onto a pole covered by a towel and just squeeze it to try to squeeze a bunch of blood out. And that's where, and so it ended up looking like a barber pole with the red and white stripes. Sorry, I have this. I don't have this thing about blood. Blood doesn't bother me, but the idea of myself, veins bother me is what it is. The idea of my veins being cut into and like squeezing blood out of them. I'm gonna stop now. Okay, since he looked in every aspect like a mortal man, I might never have even suspected his true nature, had not a fire broken out shortly thereafter in the establishment in which we were residing. This Regis, if that truly was his name, stood completely untouched by the flames, whereas my own clothing quickly caught fire. The vampire carried me out of the burning inn, saving my life from certain death, then treated my numerous wounds. Aren't vampires supposed to be more affected by fire, though? At first, Regis refused to answer my query as to how he had miraculously survived the furnace-like temperatures inside the burning inn, without so much as a scratch on his body or a hair singed on his head. Eventually, however, he must have sensed I was a man of the world, one who would not jump to hasty judgments based on appearances or species, and revealed his identity, along with a great number of highly interesting facts. According to Regis, not all vampires are alike. This vast family contains both mindless katakans, fletters, and ekimaras, who in form resemble overgrown bats far more than humans, as well as apes and bruxae, who look remarkably like comely maids. In addition to these, there are the even more powerful higher vampires, to which genus belonged my unexpected acquaintance. Not even a witcher can discern a higher vampire from a mortal man. Contrary to popular belief, they cannot be killed by pounding aspen stakes into their chests, nor by cutting off their heads, nor, as I can vouch for based on personal experience, by fire. They do not fear running water, garlic, or the symbols of any creed. It might be some consolation to learn a vampire's bite does not turn a human into one of their number, and they do not in any way need our blood in order to survive. To them it is merely a delicacy in which they indulge from time to time, like men do with fine wine. He just asked me to keep his tale to myself, but now, as I lay on my deathbed, I feel that I must share this secret knowledge, even if it means breaking my word to this most noble individual. I'll be interested to see if that actually comes into play in the game. Nifty. I would just... Oh my gosh, it is so bright. Like, the game doesn't look bad, but this menu is just horribly bright. Was there? Right, I want to see... No. Is there a stash anywhere nearby that I can look for? What does it look like? Stash, stash, stash. Place of haunting. Stash. Alright, just a green chest like that. I want to find one of those, like, as soon as possible. Aha! One at Crow's Nest. Appropriate. Is there one... Really? There's not one in Oxenfurt? That seems odd. Whoops. There's one in Crow's Nest. There's one in this big city. That makes sense. Alright, it makes sense that they're not, like, all over the place. I might at some point fast travel back here just so I can use that and drop some stuff I don't need. But we'll worry about it when we worry about it. Wait, what? There's another place of haunting here? And guard a treasure. What? Have I not been down here? That's... okay. That's weird. I'll have to go back down and check that out at some point. Alright, anyway. Oh. That's right, I forgot. Bestiary. Mars, higher vampires. Who does that look like? Who's the person that looks like? Come on, that looks like somebody. Not Dandelion. That guy? Maybe. That guy? Alright. Maybe I'm just being stupid. Our vampires, men, the polite ones at least, would call me a monster. A blood-drinking freak. Says Emil Regis, higher vampire. Interesting. Only a mutual thirst for blood links higher vampires to their distant and much more primitive cousins, Chimaras, Alps, Catacans, and the like. Higher vampires are, in fact, much more similar to humans than to those bat-like blood slurpers. They not only resemble us in appearance, but also share our intelligence and behavioral patterns. This means they do not squat in distant forests or hide in the shadows. On the contrary, they are particularly fond of cities, where they live out deceivingly normal lives. Even witchers are not capable of recognizing them at once, for their medallions remain perfectly motionless in the presence of higher vampires. Yet all these similarities should not blind us to an essential difference. Unlike men, higher vampires are immortal. Those who have faced them in combat and survived can be counted on one hand. It is a witcher's good fortune that higher vampires are extremely rare, and not all are dangerous to humans. Though they do have a taste for blood, they do not need to drink it to survive. Some higher vampires have renounced feeding on humans altogether, and do no harm to anyone, but others give in to their desires. A witcher who braves fighting a higher vampire must bear in mind that he faces a monster endowed with incredible strength, one able to manipulate men and animals, turn invisible, and transform into a giant bat. And furthermore, one which is nearly impossible to kill. In other words, even an experienced monster slayer should think twice before accepting a contract on one of these creatures, even if half a kingdom and a princess's hand is in the offering. Oh, I thought he said fire didn't do anything to him. Yet they're damaged by the same poisons and oils that affect other vampires. Interesting. Anyway. Forging onward. We'll see how this brightness goes. Let's, buttons. Right, light attack, heavy attack. That's that. Dragon's Dream, big shot. Steel, silver. Up there? Up. Whoops. Down arrow. Crap. Right thumbstick does nothing. Left thumbstick. Thumbstick. Double clicking it calls roach, I remember that. There's Witcher senses, that's right. R1 is use item, crossbow, and I heavy click now. R2 is sign, right. You know what? Thinking about it. I wish he did say to leave now. Ah, screw it. I fear not the crones. It's late, so I'm thinking to rest here and then head out in the morning. I like to travel by day for two reasons. A, just general immersion kind of thing, you know. Generally you don't travel by night unless it's for a specific reason, because it's dangerous and dark. B, for a practical reason. I was gonna say IE, but I don't think IE or EG are actually appropriate. Anyway, because my health only regenerates during the day. So, yeah. Through the night. And I know my little meteorology thing says that it's still nighttime, but the sun is obviously on the rise at 3 AM, so onward. I'm excited, I gotta say. It's been a long time since I played this game. And I'm pretty jazzed to get back into it. Whoa, whoa, joystick, listen to me.